Happy Saturday to you. I'm Suzette Speaks, TV host and attorney. I am going to be doing a little bit different kind of stream this morning. I want to welcome you and thank you so much for tuning in to my show. On the Suzette Speaks show, we talk about current events, social justice, a little bit of law. And this is going to be my first show ever where I'm doing a television show review. I am going to be reviewing the Ozarks. If you guys are Ozarks fans, I am super excited to share my interest, my what should I say, fascination with the Ozarks with you. If you are an Ozarks fan, I am going to drop the link later so you can jump on. Tell me what you think about this season 4, part 2. I'm going to warn you there will be some spoilers. So if you have not watched season 2, this is not the reaction show for you. I am going to give all of my insights and what I like and what I don't like and which characters are my favorite and why. But this show is just so well written. And I'm going to start by saying hi to my folks in the chat. But I have to also preface this conversation by letting you know that I am not a movie critic. I do not critique things for a living. I'm an attorney by training who has become a YouTuber. I started with live events here in Miami. I do mostly events for women, trying to empower them in areas of their lives, including emotional health, mental health, business, professional development, and growth. And I try to do it here on YouTube. So I do a little bit of that too on a place called Patreon. So if you're interested in your personal development, I got a little bit of that for you. And I'm going to do something different today. So I hope you'll rock with me. I hope you will enjoy this conversation as much as I am excited about bringing it to you. But as I said, if you don't know what I'm talking about, there is a Netflix show, let me grab my tea, called Ozark. Ozark is a fantastically written show, been around for quite some time. And as I said, I'm not a movie critic. I do not watch television for a living or anything of the sort. I am just a person that enjoys a good scripted television. So I figured why not share some of that passion and excitement with you here today. So if you again have not seen Ozark, please do me a favor and watch this after you've seen the new season. If you are a fan, this is the show for you. If you want to know a little bit more about it, this is the show for you as well. Hit the like button as you come in. But I want to welcome everyone watching, whether you're watching on Jamaicans.com, my partner on Saturdays where we stream together. Thank you so much. The Jamaicans.com Facebook page. Thank you for those watching on the Suzette Speaks Facebook page. And of course, all of my YouTubers. What's up? Good morning. Happy Saturday to you. Whether you're watching it probably around the world, maybe it's Sunday already. But if you're a team replay, do me a favor, hit the like button. And again, I am going to just give my opinion of what I've enjoyed about this show. Kind of analyze some of the main characters, some of the themes they have going on. I feel like I could write a wonderful essay about all of the moving parts. Shout out to all of the writers of this script, the production team. There's so many parts of this show that I really, really, really enjoy. So I was like, why not come and talk about it? Again, I won't be using the actors and actresses' real names. I'm going to be using their character names. Forgive me, because again, I'm not a professional critic, but I love this show. Ever since it began, I kind of was fascinated with the main character, Marty Bird, and his life now in the Ozarks. So if you again have seen it already, this is a great show. Please chime in. I'll drop the link in a little bit. But if you are not familiar with this show, again, spoiler alert, I'm going to go over some of the plot in the new season that's just been released. But before I do, welcome everybody. Let me say hello to a few people and get right into it. Again, the topic today is Netflix Ozarks. If you are Ozark fan, let me know. Drop a comment in the chat. And if you're not, maybe this show will spark your interest. So I'm going to get right into it. Let me say hello to a few folks. Guys, come in, hit the like button while you do. Again, I am going to be talking about my favorite characters, some of the plot lines I find super interesting. And again, I won't be referring to people by their real names. I'm going to refer to them by their character names. I hope that's okay. Again, I know that's not real critic protocol, but I'm just doing it because I enjoyed the show. So Netflix is The Ozarks. How many Ozark fans do we have? Hit the like button, please, as you come in. There is a show that has really captured many people's, attention, as well as their what should I say, imagination, because of how well it's written. Shout out to, and I do know the main character, Marty Bird, is played by Jason Bateman. But again, I'll be using the character names, forgive me. And I'll start real soon with my favorite character, this lady right here. Oh my gosh. Ruth Langmore is her name in the show. Shout out to all my folks who watch Netflix here with me. I want you guys, hopefully, to be a part of the conversation. Again, this is a passion of mine. And if I spend so much time doing it, I might as well come on and talk about it. Welcome. Hit the like button as you come. Suzette Speaks here, TV host and attorney out of Miami, doing something a little different today outside of my wheelhouse. Again, I am not a professional critic, but I love this show. This show has really, really captured my imagination. I had, as soon as the first 6 episodes of season 4 came out, I watched them back to back. I'm that kind of obsessive, like binge watcher when it comes to these shows. And then when the new season popped up this week, I was like, oh, I am going to be on the Ozarks journey yet again. The characters are so well written. They're so well developed. There's so many twists and turns. The plots overlap without seeming kind of implausible. I must warn you, there's a lot of violence in terms of people dying, people, shooting other people. So I'm going to give you just an overview. And again, if you have not seen this season, spoiler alert, let me say what's up to my people. Hit the like button as you come in. As I mentioned before, I have a Patreon. If you guys want more on the personal development side of me, which is the growth in mindset, growth emotional intelligence wise, and growth in just understanding yourself, self-awareness, please, come on over on Patreon. Shout out to all my patrons who are supporting my content. Me and Mr. Bernard S. will be the next Patreon guests. If you guys don't know him, he's been around kind of hanging out ninja style, but he's kind of stepping forward just a little bit. And he'll be my guest this month. When we set the date, we'll let all the Patreon members know, but that's an exclusive club of mine. And shout out to everyone who watches my channel. We've decided to call y'all the speakers, the Suzette Speaks speakers. Shout out to everybody who are approve that name. But I'm getting into a new type of show today. So I want to see how it goes. We're going to try things that are new just because I feel like I'm small enough as a YouTuber to try what I want. So you guys are going to get a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But today is something unique. I love a show on Netflix called Ozarks. And I'm calling it The Ozarks, but I think it's called Ozark is the proper name for it. And I really enjoy it. And I want to see if you guys also enjoy it and want to talk a little bit about what you think about season 4 and what it all means and the writing and the characters. But welcome, everybody. Glad to see you here. Still haven't watched it? Oh, no. Spoiler alert. Can I talk today? Spoiler alert, Chemo. Be sure you have watched it or want to know what happens. Get some tea. Or you're going to be disappointed because I'm going to give away almost all of the the secrets here. I've enjoyed this season, and I love the way this show captures the imagination, the writing, the setting of the Ozarks. So much about class, gender roles, right? Criminality in terms of how people make their money in the United States, the involvement of the federal government and FBI in some of this illicit activity. Do you guys think this really happens? Father-daughter relationships, both between Marty Bird, the main character, one of the main characters, and his children, his daughter and son. A new character was introduced. The father of Wendy Bird has come to town to look for a lost brother. For those of you who have watched, know what happened to Ben. Rest in peace, Ben, one of the characters there. But yeah, there's so much in this production that I really do admire. So let's talk about it, y'all. Hey, Harmony Pill, how are you? Thank you for being here. WT Funk says, oh, I cannot wait to hear your thoughts on this. Hope You dropped the link. Yeah, of course, I will. I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. You like the cup? Thank you. Change it up a little bit. How you doing? Welcome, everyone. Sunbreeze, good to see you. What's up? Hey, Jeremy, are you an Ozark fan? Yes, I'm going to listen anyway. Doug says you haven't seen it yet. Doug, I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to ruin it for you, sir. But if you insist, okay, you can watch and then watch it yourself. I hope. Yes, Harmony Pill, I agree. They did an excellent job with the casting for sure. I just love this show. I just love it. So let's get into some of the heavy lifting, and then I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. Jeremy says the first half of season 4 was amazing. You'd think it was just okay. The second half, I was just I enjoyed both. I'll just put it that way. But the first half, the setup for this, whoa, captured you. Absolutely. So yes, I agree with you, but I enjoyed both. Yes, my favorite character is Ruth Langmore. I'm going to talk about her a little bit first. I think she's a great place to start with the second half of season 4. Ruth, oh man, amazing character. She the best part of the whole series. Yes, Ruth Langmore, what she does as kind of like the becoming the backbone of the family, with her father gone, with her uncles gone. First and foremost, the first seasons when her father was locked up, they are in, what should I say, a local family that doesn't come from much means in the Ozarks, people of the land, people of the soil. And her rise, and I think she's always probably had it in her, but her rise as kind of like the leader of what is left of the Langmore clan is one of the best parts, I do believe, of the character development of Ruth Langmore. Watching her step into the role, first being the mentee of Marty Bird, and we'll get into it, guys. I'm giving you a little bit more than probably you need yet. Let me set up the season 4 for you first. But yes, watching Ruth Langmore develop from an apprentice of Marty to a direct rival of Marty and Wendy Bird has been an amazing plot twist that season 4 has brought. I've loved watching. I hope you guys have too. Oh, Diana says, my friend Leo has been gushing about it. Leo knows what he's talking about. It's a fantastic show. Well written. Sunbreeze says, I'm new to the Ozarks. Okay, yes, season 4 is the latest season. Yes, what has been interesting too is the use of music. Thank you, WT Funk. They have used a lot of old school, and by old school, what is it, 80s, 90s hip hop as the soundtrack of Ruth Langmore as she is going to avenge her cousin. I think that is so like bringing in the old with the new, contrasting of the deep South. What should I say? The deep South. The word I'm looking for is aesthetic. Contrasting that with the hip hop, I think is just so well done when Ruth is on her mission to avenge the death of her cousin. It is just so well written. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys are watching. Thank you so much on Facebook. I'm going through the comments. I'm trying to go kind of quickly. So I see, thank you very much for being here. Thank you so much for hitting the like button. And I'm going to just go right into it. If you guys watch this, please come on through. I'm watching Ozark now, says Seek Amethyst. Good morning. Good to see you. Or good afternoon now. Good to see you. Oh, I'm spoiling. No, it's all right. I'm excited, WT Funk, that you're excited about this. I thought this was WT Funk. I wouldn't say trailer park trash. That's not my characterization. But yes, on the totem pole of economics of that region, they would probably be seen as below your middle class folks. They were definitely a rough and tumble crew, people who had gone to jail, people, for petty and then up to murder, but excuse me, deletion, yes, people who had been charged with some heinous crimes and were kind of like the enforcer class, as well as the class that folks who came to town depended on to further their business interests, right? So the outsiders, Marty Bird, his wife Wendy Bird, kind of used folks like Ruth to get what they wanted, but Ruth is pushing back in a very, very hard way. Yes, Hey, Korean. Yes. They even used Sister Nancy's song. I heard it. What the bum? I was like, no, they didn't. So they are very creative in terms of their writing. I want to hear who your favorite folks are, but mine is this lady, Ruth Langmore, has developed into one of the most compelling storylines in this series. I've really enjoyed watching her. I've enjoyed watching her become the leader of her clan. So we're going to begin. Ruth and Marty. You guys have heard some of these names. You may not know exactly who I'm talking about, but I'm going to try to do a brief synopsis to bring us up to what's going on in this season so that we can discuss it. So Ruth and Marty Bird met 3 seasons ago, when Marty Bird, who is, I guess you could just say, finance guy, great at taxes as well as money laundering, it seemed, for big corporations, was conscripted, forced into servitude by some mobsters. You guys are going to have to kind of go back on season 1 and 2 to work for the drug cartel, basically, Mexican drug cartel, headed up by a particular family. Now, in doing so, he moved to the Ozark area, which is a real area in real life, and he ends up working for this gentleman who the name just slips me right now, the Mexican cartel. Thank you very much. Omar Navarro. There we go. Omar Navarro. I'm going to get all the names because I'm thinking about the characters as I'm bringing them up. Omar Navarro is a leader of one of the most notorious Mexican drug cartels, of course, in this fictional world of the Ozarks. And he basically has Marty Bird as his hired hand to wash his money. They are cleaning money in an area that is known for, tourist attractions, including a casino called the Liberty Bell, I believe is the name. So in the casino business, they are trying to get this cartel leader, Omar Navarro's money cleaned and legit. So there is a lot that happens. I'm giving you the shorter version of it because it's a very complex, well-written storyline. But yes, Omar Navarro is basically holding them hostage, Marty and Wendy Bird, husband and wife duo. And then that complex relationship, especially in season 4, how Marty is treated by his wife, the dance that goes on between them. And it really made me think about, whoa, is Marty regretting that he's taken it this far? Because his wife, apparently Wendy Bird, has taken it even further and making moves without telling him, and bringing Omar Navarro's sister into the fold in order to kind of use her as a pawn, and it backfires. There are many things about Wendy Bird and Marty Bird's relationship that made me really, stop, even cringe at times, wondering, I wonder if people really live like this. This dance where, in Marty's case, your wife is super smart, very political, also a kingmaker or wants to play the game. There's a moment in season 4 where Marty seems to have been, outmaneuvered by his own wife, keeping him outside of the loop and doing exactly what she wants when she wants. And then Marty got to come in and decide, do I go with where Wendy has really, thrown us into a ditch, or do I push back on her? Is he afraid of Wendy? Is really another question I want to ask all of you. But if you enjoy Ozark, come on in, please. Nice to see you. Blessings to you also, Polly Anderson. Nice to see you, Collins. I am trying my best to give you a shortened version of what has taken place in the beginning of season 4 in order to bring us to what is going on now. So I'm going to continue to kind of do a little bit of a recap and then get into what I enjoyed the most. Jeremy, what did Jeremy say? Did I skip what he said? How many people actually thought the Bird family was going to make it out alive? That's a great question. With all the twists and turns between them and the cartel, Marty having to go down to Mexico to meet with some, as Jamaicans would say, some badman, some gangsters, and coming back alive a couple times, even being put in charge of the cartel by the FBI, while Omar Navarro, the fictional cartel leader, was placed in jail by a rogue FBI agent. Maya Rudolph. It's so interesting, and the plots and the overlays between each characters and how they the stories kind of intertwine. I love it. It reminds me of kind of like a not in plot, but just how beautifully there are separate but intertwined stories. It reminds me of Game of Thrones in that way. But yes, I didn't think I was worried they was gonna get deleted many times in this in this show, but they are survivors. And honestly, I think they are stronger together. Although, like I said, Wendy been moving different. Wendy has been on, the wife in the story, has been on her own, kind of, it seems, solo and even ruthless mission. Her children were taken from her in this part two, the introduction of her father and understanding how she was raised and why she thinks and has the temperament she does. I was like, oh, you just like your daddy. Your daddy don't like you, but you just like him. They really are very similar, Wendy Bird and her father. But seeing that play out on their the steps of the courthouse, there's so much. I'm gonna get into it. Let me back up before I fast forward. WT Funk says, I love how they told the truth about the Mexican cartel working hand in hand with FBI. Your opinion? Thank you very much. Let's see what else you think. WT Funk says, Jeremy, I thought they would all have been deleted, but the son, because shout out to Jonah Bird. So in all of their dealings with the cartel, the Birds have two very smart, astute children who they have let into, by telling them exactly what's going on, their nefarious affairs, their underhanded and illegal activities, which has put their whole family's lives in jeopardy because they work for the cartel. Their son, Jonah, has turned into a boss in high school. He's like 15, learned how to launder money from his dad, working for Ruth Langmore, right? So we have a plot kind of overlap there, as well as Charlotte Bird, who also is the protector of her brother, wants to protect her family, has begun a relationship with her grandpa that has complicated how Wendy Bird and Marty Bird relate to their own children. We're going to get to it. Doug says Marty's wife doesn't respect him. Okay. Yes, they absolutely do. Okay. WT Funk says, I think he is afraid of losing her as a wife in a family. He clearly let her get away with way too much. Yeah, I think, and the family. Yes, I think so. I think he wants his family. That's why he did all of this. And I love the kind of flashbacks they keep giving you of how Marty got into this game. At the beginning of season 4, they show you his regular life in Chicago, as an accountant, right? As a finance guy, and how he got into it, thinking that his life wasn't enough, thinking that there was a way he could actually be, this respected and king-making man. It was very interesting, some of those flashbacks. Yes. WT Funk says they only laid together one time in 4 seasons. And it was a very uncomfortable scene to watch. Marty and Wendy get it on, if that's what you want to even call that. Because I think, if I remember correctly, he was like fantasizing about something else. She was using it, to me, for her own means, for her own ends. And it was very uncomfortable to watch that scene, actually, scene 1. But welcome, everyone. We're talking Netflix today. We are talking Ozark and what season 4 means, giving you a little bit of my feelings about it, and also some recap for if you have not watched it. Again, click off. Maybe you want to go watch it. And if you've never heard of it, maybe this will interest you, because you'll find it so interesting. Season 1, 2, 3 are so good. So Wendy was on some bull. I thought she was going to get Marty deleted. Yes, deleted for sure. And I'm laughing, guys, only because this is actually a show, fictional show. And the complexities behind their relationship is why it's like an uncomfortable laugh. Because you would think, is this his wife? Is this his ally? Even during the season, she says to him, it's okay if you would want to leave me. And then he looks up at Marty, who has been sacrificing himself to keep this family both alive and together, looks up. It's a great shot scene in their kitchen. Wendy on one side of the kitchen and him both profile. You can see the eyes dart back and forth, the look up, the look down, then they finally meet, and Marty's asking her, "Is that what you want? You all after all we've been through, after all the bodies we've buried together, after all of the fear of our lives we've been through together, and we still are in together. You asking me, or are you telling me?" He's like, "Is that what you really want?" I think it shocks him after all he's doing to sacrifice for his family. Yes, yes. Let's see what else you guys have to say. This is the interesting thing. If you watch some of the flashbacks in season 4, hey, Miss Globe Girl, first and foremost, how you doing? And the statement she makes here is very interesting. Wasn't because Marty, that wasn't because of Marty that made them end up in the Ozarks in the first place, and didn't she have an affair? Yes, Marty found out about this affair. It rocked his world back then. But I think they made kind of an agreement to go together. If you watch a little bit of, I think it's right here at the beginning of season 4, the conversation, the flashback conversations they have together as a family. He tells his wife, "I work for a firm." When he first, before he moved to the Ozarks, when you first meet them in Chicago, he says to his wife, "My firm has been, I didn't know, washing money. The guys were stealing from the cartel. The cartel has deleted them, and now the cartel wants me to do this." And it seems like she's being let in, and she agrees. I don't know if it was his quote fault. That's a complex question. I love that it is. Yes, Doug says Jonah, the son, is his favorite character. Yes, the old man that was living with them. I think his name might have been Buddy. Correct me if I'm wrong. Who would walk around from the house they were renting from him, but they sold it to the Birds as they moved into the Ozarks. And the one stipulation was that an older man who sold them this house that they live in, and most of the scenes with the Birds are shot at, he was like, "I have to be able to live with you until I pass away." And so he is their neighbor who goes skinny dipping random times with their kids. He's like, I have a daughter, I have children around. But yes, that was a very interesting character. Sandy B says, "I haven't seen this show." Sounds like, yes, please check out Ozark. I don't think you will regret it. I've enjoyed watching it, and I even tried to go back and watch it. This is the type of show, y'all, even when I'm doing the review today, I try to watch this season. I think I watched it twice full, and I still had to go back and try to watch it one more time to make sure I got all the characters and the plot lines that I enjoyed kind of like written down. But I'm going off the dome today. I had it on a notepad, and I can't find my notepad. So I'm going off the dome, and I already made the slides, so I'm like, let's go. All right. So WT Funk says, "It also shows how hard it is for a man not to cheat when he has a Karen for a wife. A lot of mercy." Yes, he's had many temptations. Shout out to Marty. Yeah, that I would love to hear a man's perspective on some of those intricacies about the plot. Yes, no, I say delete. I forgot. Me too. Don't worry about it, Jeremy. Yes. Yes, it was his partner's fault, and Buddy was the best. Oh, we're gonna get into Darlene Schnell again. A part of the hometown, locally respected, foundational, if you want to call it that, families in this area. Worked the land in terms of had farms, huge farms, but who knew she was growing poppies? Darlene Snell and her husband. First of all, Darlene Snell deleting her husband in that first season, or was it the second one? Oh my gosh. I was like, they can't play with this Darlene. Darlene Snell was one of the first, I was like, it didn't surprise me about her ruthlessness, but her ruthlessness towards her own husband and her taking up a young man. What do you think about the relationship? Let's get into it between Darlene and Wyatt. Who happens to be Ruth Langmore's cousin. Let's get into it. From the beginning, Wendy was the worst. Yes, WT Funk. Darlene was insane and the worst. WT Funk says Darlene was a new character. All right, so you guys, if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me just try to fill you in a little bit, because there are so many plot twists in this wonderful series called Ozark. I'm just giving you my opinion on some of the season 4 happenings. Hit the like button as you come in, please. And if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert. So let me try to introduce some of you to the characters if you guys don't know who this is. So, okay. So we have Darlene Snell, who's sitting at this poker table in the Missouri Belle that I just told you about, which Marty and Wendy Bird own. The Missouri Belle is also the mechanism by which Marty Bird has been laundering money for the Mexican drug cartel led by Omar Navarro. Are you with me? Okay, hope you are. So in this picture, you're going to see Darlene seated. All right. She's the one who was married to, again, a local, some people would say redneck, not necessarily my characterization, but people who are very Southern and very proud, but not only Southern, but come from a certain economic class, who also recognize people have looked down upon us, but we shouldn't be looked down upon. They have a very prideful sense of, this is where I belong. You don't belong here. This is my home. This is my land, and we should be the ones benefiting from it. It's a very interesting, which I say, mentality that her and her husband, rest in peace to her husband, displayed initially. Now you see, like I said, Ruth Langmore, who has become the leader after her father has passed, her uncle has passed, and so many of her family that lived on basically a plot of land where all of them had trailers. They live across from each other. Like the uncle had his own trailer, the dad had a trailer, Ruth has a trailer, Wyatt then was in a trailer. So their own kind of, if someone even could say, country bunkin style living. And that's her cousin Wyatt. She and Wyatt, the one who's standing there at this table, had a very special bond. She loved Wyatt. She really wanted to run away from their lives of dysfunction and coming from, like I said, that rough and tumble family. So she thought she and Wyatt could get away. But Wyatt instead chose Darlene, the lady, like I said, who was probably maybe 30 years or more his senior, to be his wife. And I'll tell you why. But Ruth thought she could keep family together, first and foremost, her cousins and her, and get them out of the Ozarks. But unfortunately, it did not go that way. So as I said, Wyatt, as you see here, was Ruth's cousin. Again, the dysfunction that they grew up with, it's a kind of relationship where if you grew up with me, you understand where I've been, what I've gone through, how the heck I survived. She and Wyatt were deeply bonded. And again, she wanted nothing more for her family than to not live up to the bad reputation that they had growing up. Again, their parents, it seems like, were just in and out of the criminal justice system. They were, not focused on education. They didn't have a lot of money. And their parents kind of, grew them in a way that exposed them to a lot of negative influences. So for her, seeing Wyatt become somebody, become a man, leave the Ozarks, leave where they grew up and become much more in tune with, the possibilities of the world, was super important to her. And so when he meets an unexpected twist right at the end of the first part of season 4, it tears her up. It tears her up. So yes, Darlene being more like Karen R. Kelly. Oh my goodness, Darlene is definitely crazy. Yes, they were just existing. So they were living this life. Wyatt, being kind of troubled, chose to marry, like I said, the same lady who deleted her husband, Darlene Snell. Darlene Snell's character is one of the most troubling and compelling characters throughout the series. As Jeremy says, Darlene is crazy. Darlene had a fierce sense of protective nature. She wanted a baby. She basically took a baby. Can't even get into that plot line. That's going back a little bit. That baby that you see there, baby Zeke. She took baby Zeke. And in order to keep baby Zeke, asked Wyatt, Ruth's cousin, that same troubled young man, to marry her. And they did. But one thing Darlene miscalculated. She wanted to go up against the same cartel and sell her poppy seeds and things that are made from poppy seeds to whoever she wanted, which was competition to that Mexican cartel that Marty and Wendy Bird were laundering money for. So what happens? Well, while Omar Navarro was locked up, that kingpin, hit the like button. Again, I hope you're following. While Omar Navarro was locked up, his nephew, Javi, this guy, Javier, his nephew was taking charge. I wouldn't even say put in charge. This is a scene from when they were down in Mexico, when right before Omar Navarro, the one on the right, is taken away, is arrested. He puts his nephew assumes, it's my turn now. I can run this. I want to run this. But they didn't realize, the birds quickly realized this dude, Javi, was crazy. Javi had almost like a fuse, like, oh my gosh, a quick fuse, a hot temper, so to speak. And Javi almost had the birds deleted several times. And the actor that plays Javi, oh my goodness, shout out to you, sir. Well done. But we meet Javi in a scene. Do you guys remember the scene? I feel like a bad person because I watched this scene probably 5 times. Like, I was like, why am I rewinding this scene? When Javi, the nephew, comes to get rid of his problem, Darlene, and her husband Wyatt, poor Wyatt, comes in to delete this couple because he's tired of them selling poppies and infringing on the cartel's business. Did you guys watch this scene? What did you think of this scene? Shout out to those just joining. Hit the like button. Suzette Speaks here, doing some Netflix series critiquing today. My topic today, hit the like button as you come in, please, is Netflix, The Ozarks. And I'm just talking about the show, trying to lay some foundation before I drop the link. For those of you who do not watch this show, I apologize. I hope I give you some motivation to go check it out because I've enjoyed it so much. And if you do watch it, please let me know your thoughts. What do you think about season 4 and how everything has played out thus far between Marty and his wife, between Wendy and her dad, between Wendy and her kids, between the birds and Ruth Langmore. So we have this scene, that opener scene, where this gentleman, Javi Solis, the nephew of Omar Navarro, has stepped forward, a business school grad, right, in Chicago, but again, ties to the cartel, comes in a heartbreaking and almost shocking scene. That's why I think I watched it so many times. Like, I don't know how these people always end up inside folks' houses. They break into people's houses, but you imagine coming home and you're having a conversation with your husband. These two are married, mind you. This is what they say, May, December, marriage. Darlene Snell on the left with Wyatt Langmore, and comes home to find Javi in their house. Like, I told you to stop growing your poppies and you're not listening. You got to go. You got to go. Kev says, I won't judge you, Kev, because I watched it several times. Yes, the nephew was a piece of work. Javi, coming into the show to wreak havoc and lead in a whole different way. Yes, Karine says, I thought Wendy was going to run off with Omar Navarro. You did think so? It seemed at one point like there was some attraction. There was some attraction between them. Interesting. I didn't pick that up. Interesting. Yes, we know where Javi got it from. He's a little off. The uncle and his mama. His mama comes in. Omar Navarro's sister also plays a really impactful role this season for part 2. It was really good. Hit the like button, y'all. If you are Ozark fans, I'm going to drop the link momentarily to hear what you guys have to say. Yes, that weirdly pleasing scene. Oh my gosh. I won't judge you, Kev Z, 247. Yeah, never sit down in the house. Run away. At least they shoot you in the back. That's what I said. The gun is pointed in your face, or the weapon is pointed in your face, excuse me. Do you just sit down on the couch? Oh, and I know it's writing, guys, but in this fictional world, it got me. Yes, he could have run away. He was like, her words were, Wyatt, get Zeke. And he was like, no, 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 come run in. Yes, where is security when you run your own local cartel, Miss Darlene Snell? Yes, Darlene was on borrowed time. Oh boy, was just collateral damage. So then you have the funeral for Mr. Wyatt Langmore after this horrific scene. Gotta warn you, it's a little bit violent, not a little. So Ruth is burying her world. Ruth Langmore buries Wyatt Langmore after that encounter, and she is, I'm talking about, devastated. She feels so torn, and she wants to get back at, by any means necessary, who deleted her cousin. So we know it's Javi. She goes and asks the birds. Ruth turns into an animal. This scene when she's yelling at the birds, tell me who did this, or else I am going to have you guys deleted. Ruth came in, this actress killed it. Literally. In this scene, she comes in. I'm talking about the hip hop music while she's driving. Goes, you see Wendy Bird in the background, confronts them like, if you do not deal with this man, trust and believe I'm going to deal with him. Wendy Bird starts calculating, how do we get her to do what we need her to do, which is what Wendy always is kind of in the mindset of. And Ruth is like gone rogue. This is the death of Wyatt Langmore is like the straw that broke the camel's back. Ruth is not the same. Ruth becomes ruthless, realizing the birds can't protect her. The cartel is too big, too strong. Hit the like button, guys. I hope you're enjoying the conversation. I'm going to drop the link so you guys can come and tell me what you think. And I'm going to make it kind of like a round robin, give people a chance to come up and go down, go up and go down. Hit the like button. Again, we're talking Netflix. If you haven't seen Ozark, I call it the Ozarks, but Ozark, check it out. It is compelling. It is such an interesting show. And I enjoy watching the character development. I feel vested in these characters. I feel like I know them. And that is because of good writing. But okay, y'all want to get to Wendy Bird though? I've talked about her. She is a complex woman. Marty's wife came into this as kind of like, I think, a passenger. Y'all, has she changed to the driver of their interaction with this infamous cartel? Well, Wendy has turned this whole season 4 on its head just because she's making decisions without consulting anybody because of her past with her brother. There's so much about this woman that I admire and then I also kind of despise at the same time. That means it's good writing. Shout out to the writers. When you meet this woman, I am sorry for her at first. Her now, throughout season 4, it makes me wonder. I'm like, goodness gracious, Wendy, is your dad right about you? Like, her dad has this vendetta for his daughter. And I saw that and I'm like, imagine growing up like that and your dad, your dad feels like this kind of vehement hate for you because he called her, a 304. My daughter was a 304. My daughter was a disappointment. And it was hard to watch their father-daughter relationship, honestly, for me. It was very troubling is I guess the lightest way to put it. Wendy and her dad. But it makes you think about, wow, what did she and Ben, her brother, whom this season we see, she allowed to be deleted, her own brother. That's a complex plot, guys. I don't know if I can even explain the Ben plot. Wendy's brother. He's sick. He's not well, has challenges with mental issues, loves his sister. That opening scene of, I forget which of the episodes of season 4, where we see Ben's side, her brother's side of her dropping him off basically to his demise. Ben knocking on the bathroom door. Wendy, where are you? Wendy done left the gas station, or it was probably more like a Waffle House or something like that. Done left the restaurant, gone, leaving him to an assassin. And Ben looking around, where's Wendy? Steps outside, sees the hitman. That hurt me. That Ben scene, that opening scene with Ben, seeing what unfolded from his perspective, guys, it really, really hurt me. I said, oh, nah. Imagine knowing your sister set you up. And then when he gets on his knees and he's like, this is a dream. This is a dream. Because you know he not well. First of all, every time Wendy Bird and Ben hit their head, does anyone do that in real life? Bang their head against a car window? Do people do that in real life? It just disturbs me. Do people really do that? When that scene when Wendy bangs her head and blood start coming, when she lost her kids to her dad, do people do this in real life? It was so disturbing. And when Ben did it, and then Ben was placed on his knees, and then Ben was asked, the guy, tell Wendy, I love her and I forgive her. Tell Wendy, this is his sister. Tell Wendy, I forgive her. Would you do that? Could you do that for me? Ben getting on his knees, knowing that he has met his end, and saying, this is just a dream. Braca. It was like, wow, cool. That made me get goosebumps. Cool scene. Ruthless scene. Nothing you won't do but the cartel. There's a lot of story behind that. I'm not going to get into it because it's a complex beyond where I can bring Wendy Bird. But Marty's wife. What would you do if you was Marty and you was married to Wendy? And Wendy turned into this person. Was she always this person in the marriage? I wonder. I would love to see a little bit more backstory about what they lived like in Chicago before they moved to the Ozarks. Right? Let me see what you guys have to say. Jeremy says, Javi may have been an educated man, but he was too impulsive. That is the nephew. And now for a while before he meets his end of the cartel. I think he was bad for business and he lacked the discipline that Omar had. 100% agree. Kev Z says, Marty has been the most frustrated man on the show. Yes. Ruth, an amazing actress, did an amazing job. Yes, on Inventing Anna. To see her on Inventing Anna versus her in Ozark, I'm like, this woman is really, really good. This woman is such a wonderfully talented person. As an actress, she is just transformative. Shout out to Ruth Langmore's character. Her accent, her posture as she walks and struts, that curly hair that reminds you of, someone who comes from, her station in life, her body language when she's ready to go, tell the police what she knows, and the honorableness that she operates with when she knows someone is being put in jail for the death of Wyatt, and she knows it was Javi. And she doesn't want that young man to be wrongly accused, even though he did break into the Snell property and steal some of Darlene's jewelry and Wyatt's, I think it was like jacket. But she still felt some type of way that people from her neck of the woods don't get a fair shake. That because they're poor, because people call them white trash, and that's how they're perceived, you're allowed to go to jail forever for stuff that you don't do. It was very touching, but it cost her. Are y'all ready? I'm enjoying this season. I hope you are watching and enjoying this with me. I hope you liked and are watching the Ozark and or Ozark. I call it the Ozarks is my name for it, but it's called Ozark. Yes, Wendy get on her nerves. I did not like Wendy, selfish. Yes, Wendy is highly manipulative, highly manipulative. He wanted them kids to get clapped. Oh my Jesus. The kids are so independent because they know the parents' secrets. These parents cannot parent Jonah and Charlotte. Once you make them adults by giving them adult information, people do this in real life. You done made your kids adults. Because my mom used to say, you don't talk everything around kids. We can't have adult conversations. Now, mind you, in this fictional world, the kids are scarily fair game. The cartel could come after your kids if you do not cooperate. So I think they were compelled to tell the children. But because they told the children, it made them little adults. You got Jonah moving out and living in a whole motel, their 15-year-old son. You got Charlotte doing her own thing. So it was very interesting, the parenting theme, both from the birds to their children, Wendy and Marty, to Jonah and Charlotte, and then now Wendy's dad coming into the scene. It was very interesting, the parental theme of what it means to parent and how difficult it can be in very difficult circumstances. That is a complex theme throughout. Let me hear what else you guys have to say. She talking about, dang, Wendy deleted her own dang on brother who she claims she loved. This is when y'all try to blame on Wendy. Wendy did cheat on Marty. Hit the like button, guys. At the beginning, even that scene when it shows her lover being dropped from the whatever floor. Serious stuff, guys. And Marty was walking up to confront them. And then blah! And then Marty's sense of satisfaction in that scene, like, okay, I didn't even have to do anything. Ooh, is this true? Isn't Wendy an avatar for Hillary Rodham? You think so? I didn't read that, but I'm interested in your opinion. Rockstone, wow. That's plausible. I have not seen that, but that's very interesting. Okay, on Ben, unfortunately, Wendy's brother had to go, says Kevzy, because he was about to blow the lid off of Ben knew his niece and nephew, Wendy Bird's brother Ben, who she had taken care of, who had mental illness, started to piece together what was happening and why, he was so troubled was that his niece and nephew were in the, literally the bullseye of the Mexican drug cartels. And Ben was not happy about it. He was not having it. Then he also had a relationship with Ruth Langmore. But yes, this is Maya. I gotta talk about Maya before y'all come up. Yes, Wendy, not Black folk. Yes, mental illness. That's a very interesting point. You see, when Wendy checked herself into that mental hospital, how it went to get her kids back. Manipulative. Did she need it? Whoa. Amazing actress for sure. He would have had her whacked. Remember, Wendy was cheating on Marty. She was bad for business from the jump. I see that. Who you kind of glad she got clapped though? Oh, you talking about Darlene or who? Probably. Thank you, Kev Z. Let me see. Wendy was bored, says Kareen, with her life with Marty. That is why she's getting her black. her Y'all go at me. I gotta read these comments before I put them up. All right. Rockstone says Wendy would have done what Marty did for her and their children. Interesting. Wendy would have done the same thing Marty would have done. Okay. They did not give a backstory for Marty because he represents every man that sacrifices endlessly. Wow. For women who do not reciprocate. Very deep thought there, Rockstone. Let me marinate on it for a minute. They did not give the backstory of Marty because he represents every man that sacrifices endlessly for women who do not reciprocate. Very deep. Thank you, brother. Yes, Suzette is going to have to make disclaimers when we come up to protect her list. This is fun. This is not legal advice. You already, okay, if you have a legal issue, since you said it, I might as well be careful. If you have a legal issue, this is just me talking about the writing and the themes and the beautiful way in which this show was shot and the topics and wonderful, what should I say, character development that I have seen throughout. I'm not giving legal advice in metaphor, in allegory, or in any other way. This is just for entertainment and informational purposes only, although I am an attorney. That's not what this is about today. We're talking Netflix's Ozark. I'm enjoying this series so very much. Watched it from the very beginning. I found it so enthralling, compelling. All the words I was trying to think of, what would I say? It was just very thrilling. It was like a thriller. It had suspenseful moments. It had ruthless moments. Again, trying to look at how these characters represent our own humanity, right? The writers did an amazing job developing these characters so that you felt like you knew them and very engaged in, who they were becoming. The development was very good. Let me see. It is very interesting. Yes, I will make my disclaimers. I hope you guys come on and drop the link. But Maya Rudolph and then her arc, her character being in the FBI, wanting to be team good girl, or what should I say, on the good side of the FBI, not realizing in this show the FBI was also playing with the cartel, had a deal with the cartel and was playing both sides. And they did not put Maya in the loop because they know she was a goody two shoe. So what did she go do? Oh, I thought I had the Maya picture next. Sorry. She went and kind of spoiled the show. This is the one I wanted. And got Omar Navarro arrested while he was still on the U.S. soil before he went away. Then by putting his sister in place as the new de facto head because she tried to have her brother deleted, Omar Navarro, because she thought Omar had killed Javi. She was trying to do the same thing, Ruth. I love the crossing of that theme, the revenge theme. Ruth wanted revenge, or to avenge Wyatt, and so did Javi's mom. Wanted to avenge his death and figure out who killed my son. She thought it was her brother. She didn't even play. She went hard in the paint, ready to take care of her own brother for her son. I was like, oh, here we go, another theme: complexity of family and relationships and loyalty. But she thought her brother had done the most heinous thing, which was to get rid of Javi. She knew Javi was a hothead and Javi was indisciplined and very eager. He didn't want to wait, right? Or he felt his uncle was getting old, time for him to make his move, right? Young man full of pride. And boom, his mom thought, did my brother do this? So she came right, they stuck Omar Navarro in jail. That scene was very powerful. They stuck Omar Navarro in jail, jabbed him up, the Shawshank. That scene, Omar Navarro, 2 scenes in this season that got me. Omar Navarro getting jammed up by a fellow prisoner, by his sister trying to take him out, and him surviving by asphyxiating the guy who tried to, the prison assassin. That was a hard scene. Like hard as in like, woo, like raw masculinity on display. He was going to survive. If it's me or you, that let me know that even as the cartel boss, his moxie, his cajones, he's like, he lived that part. He was not just, sending out other people to be his henchmen. I'm a survivor too. You come at me, I'm gonna survive this. And even surviving prison, it was very interesting to see that. I was just like, this is so well shot, that scene in the hallway, and they're allowing him to bleed out, and he goes into a coma. And then the sister's like, oh, Marty Bird, can you let me see my brother, please? And knowing good and darn well, she set up the hit. And poor Marty took out somebody else for that hit. I know he felt bad about it. I think that's also another theme. Marty is starting to get uncomfortable with the evil, if you will, of his job. The things that he has to do starts to weigh a little bit more on him now morally. Why? Marty, I think, didn't have a choice before, but now he's starting to see that underbelly. Marty is so uncomfortable. Is probably the lightest way of saying it. But when he starts to see, dang, I put a man, I took a man off the earth because I thought he was the one that set up the hit, only to find out it's her. This lady, this character. Ooh. Kev says, I watched that last scene at the casino like 5 times. Listen, this was one of the most compelling scenes. I thought to myself, this I cannot, I couldn't watch it one time. The other scene with Omar Navarro is where they do get him and he's walking, thinking that they broke him out of jail. I'm looking for her name. I just it slips me just now. But when he's broken out of the prison van, and Omar Navarro thinks that the prison guard who shoots the person in the passenger seat and then gives him the weapon and says, "There's a car waiting for you a half a mile down." Like as they're driving through a forest, Omar Navarro looked first like, "Oh, what's going on?" And then Omar Navarro turns and was like, "Oh, okay." They busted me out. Cold scene. Cold, cold, cold scene. Had my heart racing actually when I watched it. I was very uncomfortable. It had a lot of plot twists when it comes to them. But I didn't even talk about. I was trying to figure out who else I need to talk about. I didn't talk about Frank Cosgrove. Joseph Sikora is the actor. Ruth Langmore's buddy from the KC mob. Oh my gosh, there's so many wonderful plots to this masterpiece called Ozark on Netflix. But yes, the machismo. Oh my goodness, that hand-to-hand combat that he had to face, his life being on the line in that prison scene. That scene where he was finally taken away with the prison guard giving him the weapon and saying, "Go walk." Hard scene. Hard scene. Made me think a lot about, wow, he kind of knew, because he knew it was his sister eventually that was the person that tried to plot for him. Hope you guys are enjoying. Hit the like button. There's so much to talk about. I'm going to drop the link. There's so much to talk about here. I've enjoyed this series up to now, and I want to hear what you guys have to say. We'll keep it round robin style, so join the conversation if you can. But I wanted to give some of my opinion first about what I saw and how the plots kind of, really captured me. And I want to hear what you have to say, whether it's about Marty Bird and his wife Wendy, their relationship, the Birds' relationship. We didn't even get to the politics of Wendy wanting to be a legit kingmaker in politics. Some of her personal ambitions in that regard, and how she has had to maneuver with the drug company that uses the Mexican cartel's product to make drugs for, us in America, legit and otherwise. Sounds familiar. So it's very, very interesting. The family dynamics, the parental themes, husband and wife themes, the get out of your hood theme with Ruth Langmore and her family. Ruth now manning up almost, right, to push back against Marty in the most, what should I say, direct, like in your face. I'm gonna buy this casino, the Liberty Bell or Mary Bell. I hope I'm saying that right. I think it's called Liberty Bell, from underneath you, Marty. I own it now. How you gonna wash your money? How you gonna try to get around this now? Find another way. And Marty being told by the cartel, no, 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 no. You're gonna have to wash more. You're gonna have to wash more, actually. You're gonna have to make sure we now have stocks for the cartel boss's children. Now have stocks for the aunt, Omar Navarro's sister. We want stock options now. Legitimize that. And Ruth taking out Javi. That was a very cold scene too. And Wendy Bird setting it up. Wendy Bird says, "I will deliver." She lied to Ruth, and Ruth knew it. I don't mind if you're look how Charlotte, shout out to Charlotte. Oh, WT Funk, I see you in the back. Look how Charlotte turned on the loyalties of family and Jonah, both by deciding to go live with grandpa, get away from their mom, and by telling Ruth where Javi would be so Ruth could go get him. Those were some cold scenes. Ruth with her little hoodie on, bopping through the streets to the 90s hip hop we spoke of. It's very interesting. Very interesting. Let me see what WT Funk has to say. How are you, WT Funk? Long time no
Hey,
see. I've been missing you.
man, it's been busy on this side of the world, but I'm really excited that you're doing a conversation about this, and it's definitely a series that I think more of us should be taking a look at. It's just absolutely amazing. So it's dope to see that you're taking a shining to this.
Well, I've enjoyed it. I'm
How
glad
did you
you
hear? How
are.
did you hear
Hit the
about this in
like
the first
button.
place?
Pardon me?
How did you hear about this in the first place? Did somebody recommend it to you?
Probably a Netflix suggestion. I binge watch. If I have like afternoons where I'm like, I just need to get the stressful stuff of, law and life out my head, I like
Hmm.
to watch TV. So I might not have a lot of time during the week, but on like a Sunday afternoon, couple hours, sometimes longer, I'll be like, okay, I don't have nothing to do. You can go hang out. But I like good scripted TV as well. So I like things that talk about life that I could relate to, that I can learn from. And I think this was one of the, I think, well spent 4 or 5 hours watching the season that I did. But yeah, I love compelling storytelling in whatever form. So
Were you
whether
hooked right
here,
away, or did it take a while for you to actually get into it?
no, from I first saw those first episodes of season one, I was like, I like these characters. I like the dance of
Hmm.
what is above board, I guess also as an attorney or just as a human being, what is legal and what is illegal, what you
Hmm.
do for the right reasons, what you do for the wrong reasons, and whether they're legal or illegal, kind of also just kind of plays in my head. And what are they going to get away with, and how much, how far are they going to take this? It just kept from they were washing money through the church. I was like,
Yeah.
Lord, putting
And
money in people's Bibles. The people at the church service was getting drunk.
yeah, but buying the like the hotel, like, yeah, it's really intricate how they really showed the how he was laundering. And
Yes, it was very interesting from one step to another. Y'all hit the like button as you come in.
I,
So wherever you
before we
want to
start getting
start,
to
how did
spoiler
you
talk,
get
I wanted to
into it?
ask you one more question.
Sure, go ahead.
As you've now kind of in your work, like you've kind of raised above a lot of us and kind of gotten into this witness upper echelon society. Do you now look at some of those parties and meetings that you've had in your past a little bit differently? Like, I wonder, is that what they were about? Is like, did it make you kind of reflect on some of the parties that you were like, I wonder if this was like some laundering stuff?
No, listen, I live in MIA. In
Yeah.
Miami, I constantly, not, I wouldn't say question, like I pocket watch,
Hmm.
but when you see the amounts of money people have and what they're able to do in 1 or 2 generations,
Hmm.
I know, shout out to my immigrants, shout out to everybody who came here trying to make a better life. But I question a lot where people's money come from, especially when you see it in like 1 or 2 generations. Like I need to understand how you're able to do this. And
Yes.
I do know a lot of what built Miami back in the day was drug money.
Yeah.
When the shores were open, like I'm talking about 70s and 80s, people could fly planes almost anywhere at any time for no reason or any reason at all, through the Bahamas, through the Keys, the ports in general. Like this city, people have seen the Cocaine Cowboys shows and all that. So when I see stuff and I'm just like, I always ask, I try to be very mild with it, but I'm always like, so you guys came to Miami when? Your parents, your grandparents? Oh, okay, cool. Were they a part of the Mariel? Okay, cool. I'm always like, I need to know because I know where
Yeah.
to place people. Oh, well, you guys are in what? You guys are in, we're big here on Medicaid fraud,
Hmm.
billing the government for patients that don't got AIDS, diabetes, all kinds of stuff. So people have been, I mean, they've cracked down on a lot of it. We see stories down here where FBI has been investigating. I'm talking about millions of dollars in fraud, selling equipment that never been bought and sold. Giving tests in medical facilities that the people don't even have the diseases. So I know that there's a lot of really rich people there. There's a saying that, for people to get this, get super rich, they have had to have done something. I think 50 Cent says that, actually. I'm here quoting 50,
Yeah.
that there was a way, like, there was a time where it had to be, below board for it then to become legitimized. So yes, in my life, I
Yes.
don't ever take people at face value. When I meet them and I'm like, oh my gosh, what kind of line of work are you in? And you guys are cool. You from here? What made you move here? Okay, cool. Like I'm asking the most benign questions, but I'm always
It,
thinking,
it,
okay, that makes no sense, or there's more to that story. So tell me where you fell in love with this series and what you enjoy the most about it.
okay. So yeah. Let's do some spoiler talk.
Okay.
Sorry. I grew up in Oklahoma, so I mean, to see that type of country lifestyle, it wasn't really anything new to me. Am I glitching?
Mhm.
Probably am, aren't I? Is my
No, you're
connection going
fine. I
out?
can hear you just fine. You're a little foggy, but I can hear you just fine. You're
Am I
perfect.
freezing?
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. Lord, now he's glitching. Of course, now that I say that, that's all right. WT Funk coming. I think you live in where you said Germany, I believe. So he's coming from overseas, guys. I know we'll have a little bit of issues sometimes. Don't worry about that. Let me drop him down for now. But I'm definitely interested in what he has to say because I know in the comments I can definitely see that you are a Ozark connoisseur like myself. You enjoyed this series. You have been watching it like myself, and hopefully I definitely want to be able to get your opinion on what you saw and how you're fine. So I'm going to bring you back up. So tell me what you thought. Go ahead, WT Funk. I don't know if you can hear me. Go ahead, you're up. Okay, I don't think he can hear me. Let me actually tell him in the chat. Hit the like button in the meantime. We're talking Ozarks at WT Funk. Let me write him on the chat. I can see and hear you. It happens. But I appreciate you coming up. Let me drop the link again. If you want to come up, you can show me your face in the back and then be a guest if you would like, just to speak on what you enjoyed or what your thoughts are when it comes to this compelling series called the Ozark or Ozark. I call it the Ozark. That's what I put myself in there. But join me on the panel. Appreciate you leaving your chat. Let me read some of the chat comments as well. Leaving your comments that is in chat. But if you have been moved by this type of wonderful writing, the way I have been, please come on and let me know what your thoughts are. Something different today. Trying my hand. I love certain Netflix shows. Watch them sometimes when I'm bored. Watch them more than once. And because I do that, I'm like, if I'm spending this much time, it must have an effect on others the same way. So we can talk about Charlotte, the daughter of Marty and Wendy Bird. Her maturity, she played such a prominent role in the first couple of seasons. We got to know her, got to see her come of age as a young woman, moving kind of like in a beautiful time and a very difficult time in a young girl's life, going through, changes of puberty, becoming a woman, moving from Chicago and from all your friends into, becoming an outsider in this new environment, like WT Fung says, a very country, small town mentality place where you're the big city girl and people are looking at you funny and trying to find her way, trying to find her identity. Even that one scene in that season one where Charlotte kind of gets disoriented, she's a swimmer dropping herself below the surface. I didn't know if she was trying to delete herself in that scene. It was very well shot. I was thinking about this is a great actress, holding her breath, being underwater for that amount of time, coming up and having a panic attack in the middle of the lake. The Ozark, the lake, the water life is central, and the theme of water, washing away sin, if you will, making new, making whole, was very prominent in that first season around Charlotte's character. She was very compelling to watch. She is in season 4 become somewhat of a player because she's now going against her parents, as she kind of was a lot in season 1, but more vocally as more of like a central part of the plot. But now she's giving away information to people who her parents would definitely not approve of her sharing information with. So her character and developing, she's 18 now, or soon to be 18. Whether or not she goes and lives with her grandfather was her own decision, went against her parents. That whole court scene moved me very much. There's a lot there. Let me see what the chat is saying. Shout out to everyone who is enjoying the Ozarks or Ozark as much as I am. Trying my hand at a review for the first time today. Would love for you to come on up and give me your opinion or leave it in the chat. I hope you guys are enjoying my take on season 4. Let me see what you guys have here. Thank you so much for leaving a comment. And let me see. Where do I start? Yes, Kev. When Navarro's sister threatened old girl, man, was I ready to snitch for her. Yes. When Wendy Bird brings Omar Navarro's sister into the fold and calls her on her own, ask her to come to her house and meet with her sitting in the living room. And Marty walks in again. Marty is blindsided by this. Like, you invited this lady into my house after we just said Marty's. See, there was a difference of opinion, and I guess this calls for submission. Marty says the best way to get rid of all these issues is to tell Omar Navarro that his sister was the one who placed the hit out on him. So we could take the sister out, get her, revenge desires out of the picture so we don't have to deal with her anymore. Instead, Wendy Bird, instead of going with her husband, goes against him and says, you know what? I'm going to bring in the sister, and the sister is hopefully going to be easier to deal with because she clearly wants to be the leader, and I am going to play kingmaker and make the more dangerous person, although Wendy didn't know that at the time, she made the more dangerous person in charge. And I thought to myself, why would you do that? She thought she had it figured out, but the lady was running, Omar Navarro's sister was running circles around her. She got outsmarted. And Marty kind of could see that the whole time, but Wendy couldn't. And it was really frustrating to watch that. I was like, dang. If you just listen to Marty, Marty was like, let's get her out of the picture. Yes. This right here, that was a scene. 100%. When the CEO of the drug manufacturing company that is utilizing, is in bed with, if you want to call it, is inextricably intertwined is a legal term, is right here with the cartel because they need the cartel's drogas, their drugs, to make the pharmaceutical drugs in the United States and probably illicit ones too. We won't go there. But she gets threatened by the aunt, Javi's mom, Omar's sister, who clearly is crazy. That's what her son, as y'all said, got it from. Who says to her at dinner, because she's trying to pin down Marty, the sister is trying to pin down Wendy to say, who was the last person to see Javi? He was going to meet y'all. Nobody saw him after you guys had dinner. Nobody could tell me why he went back. He told his mom, I'm going back to see Wendy. And y'all say y'all didn't meet, or, you said you saw him. He picked up. No, it was too late. He picked up something and left. But when she sat down and said to the drug company CEO, I'm going to give you one chance to tell me what happened. And if you do not tell me what happened with Javi, I'm going to slit you from your mouth to your woo. And you could see her contemplate. The drug lady was not Wendy and Marty. She was looking like, this was at the fundraiser that Wendy had put together for her foundation. She wants this foundation. I was thinking that foundation gonna kill you, ma'am. She wants the public, high profile, elite, respect and presence of a political playmaker, while knowing that you tied up with the cartel. Wendy, can we have it all? Can we have it all, Wendy Bird? Wendy Bird is determined to have it all, even though her life is so complex. I want to say, Wendy, sit down. You trying to do too much, sis. Your family is not legit. You're acting as if your family is legit, and you are gonna get deleted if you keep playing with the cartel while also trying to put yourself out there as one of the most legit political kingmakers out there. You want it all. You want your board to be stacked with big wigs, but you work for the cartel, sis. This was a great scene, Kareen. Yes. Next, Top Boy. If y'all like this, I might do Top Boy next. I love Top Boy. I love that show. I can watch it when I'm bored. Time to Grow says, OMG, we are obsessed with Ozark. Just stopping by to say hi. We need to connect. Okay, let's do it. Time to Grow. Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Wow. Yes, I saw this as news, just FYI. Yeah, the premier of the British Virgin Islands just got arrested in Miami for trying to set up a deal. But it was set up by, I don't know if it can't make a legal judgment, but there are some people who were saying that it was entrapment because there were people from the FBI that were posing as drug kingpins to get this premier from the BVI to go into business. And it's also, this is too much of a sidebar, but it's causing the British government, because the BVI is actually an overseas territory of Britain, to possibly want to come and take control of their island, right? Instead of local rule. It's very interesting. Thanks for bringing that up. WT Funk, you want to try to come back up? It's okay. I know it happens. We can all struggle stream. I have been there. It's okay, darling. Your Wi-Fi is not letting you be great. It's okay. That's all right. I am excited to see you guys here. I'm not sure with Mervily what you're spamming about. Thank you so much for being here though. But I want to make sure we're staying on topic. I see your messages. But go ahead if you want to leave a comment regarding the actual show. Come on up if you want to comment on what moved you, what you enjoyed the most, what you did not. Any of the topics, as Doug says, one of his favorite topics or characters is this person, the son. Jonah's character development. Jonah turning into a man. Jonah becoming his dad is one of the most interesting character arcs in this actual season. I've enjoyed watching Jonah break away from his parents. He was like, I don't live here no more. I'm living with Ruth. I'm going to work for Ruth. How about that? They're arch nemesis now. Jonah's like, I'll pick up my stuff. Thank you very much. I'll come for dinner every now and then, but I'm an adult. I'm living out of a hotel, cleaning money for Ruth now. Thanks for everything you've taught me, guys, mom and dad. Interesting how they have done so much, they say, for their family, but at the same time, they're losing control. They're losing control of their very household. So interesting. This character, Jonah, at the very final scene. I don't know if you call it saves the day or becomes a cold-hearted assassin. Jonah with that shotgun, bro. That closing scene of this season. Jonah coming in to do work. I'm like, they done turned Jonah into an assassin. It is incredible the way he has grown as a character throughout this season, and all the decisions he's making that are not in line with Marty and Wendy Bird, his parents. It is very interesting. Be careful what you teach your children, because they will become it. It's very interesting. The parental theme. Let me see. WT Funk, no problem. Leave your questions in the chat or your comments for what you enjoyed most about season 4 of Ozark on Netflix. WT Funk asks, I would love to ask you, was the last series you binged like Ozark? What was the last series that I binged like Ozark? I would say probably Top Boy. Love that. Love it. Love it. Love it. I did also enjoy, I'm trying to think of the name of that show. Oh my gosh. The one where it was around, what's the name of the guy that, Kevin Spacey, but he got taken off the show because he was doing all kinds of crazy stuff, kind of like Me Tooing individuals. But the show House of Cards, I really enjoyed House of Cards. before all the drama with Mr. Spacey, the main character. It was really good. When he had to leave the show changed. Was trying to follow it, but House of Cards I've binged like that. Top Boy I've binged like that. I'm trying to think what I should have pulled up my Netflix and see what else I have on my watch list. I'm trying to think what other shows that I've watched recently that I've binged like that. There's one from England called Stranger, I think it's called. I thought was really good as well. People have been telling me to binge watch Weeds, but it's way too long. Like during pandemic, I binge watched. During pandemic, I binge watched a lot of stuff. I'm trying to think what was I hated. Okay, I was afraid to watch zombie movies, but I really got into The Walking Dead during the pandemic. I love that show, that survival show. And there was a comparative drama called Black Summer. So good. And I don't like zombies, but I fell in love with those two shows. So that's some of what I've been watching. How about you, WT Funk? Let me know what you're watching. Maybe you can give me some tips of what to pick up. Doug says, Wendy and Darlene, both most vulnerable characters, and yet they believe they're invincible. I have not compared and contrasted the similarities between Wendy Bird and Darlene Snail. Interesting comparison, Doug. Wow. Vulnerable, yes, but don't see themselves as vulnerable. Yet they believe they were invincible. When Darlene offed her own husband, I was like, oh, we got something different here. She built different. And when she shot Frank Cosgrove's nuts off, sorry for that crudeness, but when she shot Frank Cosgrove dead in the cojones, I was like, oh, she built different. She really built different. To that one, loyal, but also believed she was invincible. Very interesting character. Thank you. Rockstone says, Ozark had me wishing that Queen Sugar was about a black controlled town. Town. And all the challenges to maintain control and eliminate threats. This is Queen Sugar is good. I got into it a little bit only because I'm not gonna lie. What's the name of that actor? He is so fine. That beautiful, beautiful chocolate brother. God forgive. That's the only reason I really started watching Queen Sugar. It's like, let me see what's Queen Sugar saying. Oh Lord, that was terrible. But I haven't gotten into Queen Sugar as deeply. I watched it for like a season. I watched what is the name of that? I think it was a Tyler Perry one about the church family, Greenleaf. I watched Greenleaf heavily too. I couldn't make this contrast because I do not know Queen Sugar that well. Thank you, Rockstone. But I do not know that. Thank you, Doug, for the super chat. I don't know that character in Queen Sugar that well. I've not watched it as religiously. Doug says, I'm enjoying this review and looking forward to more occasional reviews for the future, Suzette. Okay. I started watching Peaky Blinders. I didn't watch it when the women started coming in. I watched it at the very beginning. I love British shows. I find them very deep, well written, and complex, and also giving me a lot of thematic analysis about life and people's character and the moral stakes and the family stakes. I love a lot of British shows. I watched the first season of Peaky Blinders, but I have not watched after the women started becoming central. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying I watched when probably the first 6 or 7 episodes right at the beginning. So yes, occasionally you don't mind it. Okay. I love it. Thank you. Oh, Jeremy has a difference of opinion saying, I didn't like the son. You didn't like Jonah Bird? My guy says, Jeremy says, I didn't like the son. Him and Wendy could have been deleted for all I can. Jeremy, like, get rid of Jonah. Get rid of all of these. So tell me what your favorite character is and why. And I was thinking that more people might want to come up and have a discussion. But last call on the panel. Let me drop the link one more time. Join me on the conversation. You do not have to show your face. You can actually come up in the back and just show me that you're a real person and not a bot. And you can tell me voice only if that's what you want. What you enjoyed the most about the series and what is your favorite character and why? Who is your favorite character and why? But yes, the son you didn't care for. You didn't like Jonah? Okay, LOL at Jeremy. I may not like Jonah after seeing this season. I like Jonah. Jonah is very interesting. It's a boy turning into a man. It's a man coming of age. You always have this theme with fathers and sons, that period of time where a man goes on, what do they call it? The quest, right? Of life, understanding himself, understanding his role as a man in society, trying to define himself outside of his parents, trying to define himself in a complex, convoluted household where I know my parents are doing evil things that are wrong, but I have to work with them. I see so many themes in that where there are parents who, you ever see these videos of people with their kids shoplifting? It just irks me. It hurts my heart to the most crazy extent that people expose their children to wrongdoing. And so when I see Jonah, I'm just like, I have more empathy for him. He's a product of his environment. Jonah is so smart. He told his parents, I don't need to go to school, mom and dad. I don't need, they're like, Jonah, you have to go to school. Well, I don't need to live with you. I can live in a motel. Jonah, you have to do this. But it's because they have matured him. They forced him into a maturity. Plus, he's smart. I have more empathy for Jonah. Jonah is a product of, to me, what he's been exposed to. He's 15. And his parents work for the cartel, and he thinks every now and then he comes across with a person trying to kill his parents, trying to off his parents, and then he becomes like the protector. He'll grab the shotty in a second. Jonah started killing birds. You remember when he was killing hawks? He had shot a hawk, and his parents thought he was troubled, right? That was maybe season 1 or 2. They were like, Jonah is killing animals. It was so crazy. That's when they were much less caught up, the birds were, in all of this, complexity with the mob, with the cartel. But when Jonah killed that bird, and he was like, I want to study this for his school project. But poor Marty and Wendy were like, do we need to get him a psychologist? He's collecting dead animals. That was really interesting in terms of parenting. But it was interesting to see how they parented that moment, through that moment. They didn't confront him. They didn't shut him down. They didn't scarily say, Jonah, why are you killing that animal? You crazy. They were like, Jonah, come in. It was very interesting how they approached parenting in that moment. Mark Chapman, welcome, says, I really like the scene with Ruth and Wendy's dad. Yes. So, of course, I think Ruth must regret the day. Ruth must regret. Remember who Ruth is. Ruth Langmore, head of the Langmore tribe, got introduced with Marty right as he got into the Ozarks and was building the casino up. She was going to help him. She understood, how would I say, criminality or criminal thinking, but was very endeared to Marty. Marty really liked Ruth. And so she kind of got caught up in the quick money or trying to escape her life in the Ozarks and wanting to see, what this guy with this big idea and a plausible escape route out of poverty, out of sitting at home on my little, what should I say, a piece of property in my trailers, on the couches that are outside of the trailers. I think that's so, it was just very telling that she wanted something different and thought Marty Bird could show her a way out. But poor Ruth, excuse me. Sorry here. And I'm going to drop the link if you guys want to come up. I've been doing a lot of talking the last couple of days, so my voice is come and go when it feels like. But yes, Ruth was basically told to Mark's comment, was told by the birds, no, Marty Bird, because guess what? Wendy Bird locked herself up in the same, how ironic was that? Wendy put herself in the same mental health institution that she sent Ben, her brother, that she would later delete or have deleted. Wendy going into that, what did y'all think about Wendy checking herself in the hospital? It was at the point after the court hearing where the judge ruled. Now her dad comes to town looking for her brother. Her dad comes to town. Wendy's father is like, you guys, we haven't seen Ben. I'm here now to get to the bottom of it. Hires a private investigator. Brings his whole church down with him, putting up flyers for the brother that she has already seen deleted, had deleted. And her dad is in town, Wendy Marie. I'm going to get to the bottom of it. She and her dad have this, I don't even know if it's love hate. It's just hate. Ugh. When the dad sees what his grandchildren or the grandpa, her father, sees how Jonah and Charlotte are living, he's like, no, oh no. These kids coming with me. You got your own 15-year-old son living in a motel. You're not a parent. And more importantly, he wanted to turn the kids against Wendy. They had already been falling out of love with their mother and questioning her authority and questioning her morals. And now here comes grandpa to say, your mom, what did she do? And the kids even know that she had been deleted. And here's grandpa, they out there giving out flyers. Her own kids who know what she did to Ben, that Ben is sitting in the urn on, on Ruth Sable. Ben is sitting in the urn. Rest in peace, Ben. As I said in that first scene, that urn that's a goat, which I think is also very telling. That urn on her table in her trailer is where her long lost, but not lost. We know where he is. He was assassinated. Ben was given up by his sister to the cartel to be taken care of, and then brought back the ashes. And Jonah they own a funeral home and a crematorium. Sorry, the birds are in that business too. Much complexity, guys. If you have never watched this show, got rid of the bodies, got rid of several bodies because they own a funeral home and crematorium, which they took from can't even go into those details, but interesting way in which they got it. And this urn, this goat urn of Ruth's comes back into play, but I don't want to get too much off topic. I'm going to address what Mr. Chapman is saying. Ruth is made now. I told you all that to just say and reference what this question or this statement is about. Ruth was told by Marty after Wendy checks herself into the hospital. Marty is like, my wife won't get out this mental hospital. She says she will not leave until her children come to see her because she does not want them to go with her dad and move to another state. Things like Virginia. Can't remember which state, but no, nonetheless, move out of town. Away from her. She's basically losing her family. Everything they say they wanted, they're about to lose. Their family that they say they're doing all this for, the kid's about to go with grandpa. Right? So she puts herself in a mental hospital. Marty's like, what are we doing here? Are you okay? Marty's like, you got to get out of here. And then she says, if my kids, Wendy Bird tells her husband, if my kids leave, I'm going to hurt my dad. My dad is gone. Now, mind you, this is the same one that already set up her brother. And so Marty says to Ruth, figure out a way to you're the only one that talks to Wendy's dad so far, and talks to Jonah. More importantly, Jonah trusts Ruth. He says, find a way, do not let them get in that car and go over to live with grandpa, because Wendy's going to let grandpa have it. She has that much hate. They have mutual hate towards each other as father and daughter. And Ruth has to convince him with some coercion in the hotel room. You're not bringing those kids nowhere. And he had been trying Ruth as poor white trash for a long time. Ruth was already game. Ruth was like, I can take care of that. She didn't want to, but she had to, because they were going to give her up for having terminated Javi. So that scene was very cold. Yes. So they this is about Jonah. Jeremy says he was cool at first, but then he started acting like and not staying on code with his family. Like he left his family. Yes. Doug says House of Cards and all three of Kevin Spacey's accusers died. Ooh, really? Wow. I didn't know that. Yep. Wow. Did not know that. Doug adds, Queen Sugar is good. It taught me a lot about the plight of Black farmers and the politics involved. Very good. Peaky Blinders is real good. Okay, good to know. Breaking Bad, I watched the first season. I was like, What in the world is this? It was very good. It was good. It was to North Carolina. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me. But if you guys want to leave any final comments, if you guys want to tell me again who your favorites are, or come on up and let me know if you've been watching and why, and what has piqued your interest about this amazing piece of art. Please, this is the time. Last call on the panel. There are, again, are so many wonderful themes between this relationship. I think that last scene with Ruth, I didn't want to put it up because it was so cold. The last scene that we're left with at the end of season 4 with Ruth being basically hunted down because she was given up by the pharmaceutical head, the lady who was threatened to be cut from ear to ear, top to bottom. She says it was Ruth Langmore. And Marty and Wendy Bird darn near have a heart attack when they look at her and they're like, "Ma'am, did you just tell Javi mom, Omar Navarro's sister, who actually took her son out?" And the look of fear in that woman's eyes, and then Wendy and Marty Bird responding, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And I thought to myself, what would you have done if somebody dry snitch on you like that at the table with you? And the quick response that she gave when Omar Navarro's sister asks the drug pharmaceutical head, did the birds know? And she quickly protected them. She quickly was like, no, they did not know. I thought you guys would have had me done for. So that's why I didn't tell them and I didn't tell you. And she looks across, Omar Navarro's sister looks across the Liberty Bell, the casino, and sees Ruth's curly hair from afar. And she puts out a threat. If you see Marty and Wendy even warning this girl, talking to this girl, telling her I'm coming for her, deal with them. Ruth has no idea what's coming. Ruth leaves this political fundraiser, which is in the final episode, where Omar Navarro's sister, the drug executive, Wendy and Marty Bird are all seated. They have a successful Bird family foundation. They got foundations. These people who are running cartels, running with cartels, got whole foundations. Wendy has these, this AKA lady, has these delusions of grandeur. We're going to have the biggest employer. We're going to do the most work. I'm going to make political king. I'll be the political kingmaker for the whole entire region. We got voting machines we control. But we didn't even get into the voting machines and buying votes and changing the outcomes of elections that she wants to do or has a hand possibly in to get political capital on her side for her foundation. The woman is a beast when it comes to, plotting, plotting out her life. But is it their life? Is it a life for her and Marty? Or is it only a life for Wendy? And Wendy and who? Wendy and her kids? It is so complex. The characters, once it comes out that Ruth was the person that deleted Javi Alessandro. And then it becomes like, oh, Ruth is on borrowed time. Yes, Jeremy said the person we should feel the most sorry for is the three Langmore. 3 is by himself. I wonder if they're going to make 3 a gangster. Poor 3. There was only the final Langmores were Ruth Langmore, Wyatt, and their brother nickname is 3. And 3 was trying to ride with her. 3 was like, you don't have to do this. You don't have to go back and go avenge Wyatt's demise. And 3 was watching her finally, bury a few bodies, but create the pool that Wyatt, I love the flashback scenes or the imagination scenes where Ruth is sitting on her rooftop, where Ruth is seeing Wyatt and having conversations with her passed on cousin who she loved. And Ruth is saying, I built that pool. They take you back to a scene where Wyatt was like, we need a pool. And they were like, why do we need a pool? We live on a lake. And she's like, you don't understand rich people. So she's eventually tearing down the trailer park, the excuse me, the group of trailers that they lived in. She's eventually building the pool. She's seeing Wyatt. There's a very eerie scene, well written. Because I had to go back and I had to watch it. I was like, is this real? I didn't realize it was in Ruth's imagination, where she sees Ben, all the people she loves. She's walking through where, their home plot is. Sees her daddy cooking, sees her uncle, sees Wyatt, sees Ben playing his guitar as if it could have been, how it should have been, how she wishes it was. Moved me. I was like, ooh, poor Ruth just wanted a good life and to share it with the people she loved. But it's like no one could escape the Ozarks. No one could escape being born into the family they were born, in the socioeconomic level they were born at. Right? It was just so much that she tried to go beyond, but she couldn't. It found her. It pulled her back. Right? She ended up back in the criminality where she wanted to take Wyatt away. Wyatt, let's just take the boat, go somewhere. Let's run from this. We don't have to live like this. We don't have to be this just because our last name is Langmore. Even it was so moving when her criminal record got wiped away. And again, I tend to want to compare that with the Black experience. Ruth Langmore not having a record anymore. Finally doing what Marty and Wendy Bird does. Pull some strings. Had enough money to call upon the powers that be, that know judges, that know people in high places, in order to say, can you consider this woman's record? Can it be expunged? Just so she could get the license for the Missouri Belle. She could not have had any opportunity to get one with a criminal record. But there are some people with privilege. I'm not saying Ruth Langmore because she was a Caucasian person. I'm saying it happens all the time with people who have money and people who have means. Not saying that the court system is not legit. I'm not saying that. I believe in it. I believe in the power bestowed upon the courts. But I just know there are reasons why the poorer you are, the different outcome that you can expect from someone who has means. And that's just the truth of the what should I say, the imperfection of the system. I believe in it wholeheartedly, but the imperfections that exist because of the human beings running the system, right? So yes, 3 Langmore, that kid has no family. That kid is by himself as a Langmore. A name that will follow him, a name that precedes him. He could be just a good kid trying to make his way in the world, but he's a Langmore. Kareen says, yes, poor 3 Langmore. No family, gone. Can you imagine being in a world? I knew one lady like this, rest in peace. She had no relatives. Her mom was an only child and had passed. Her dad was an only child. And on top of that, her grandma was an only child. And her grandpa, I don't think she knew the other side. She knew them at some point, but she had no living relatives. She was fairly young. When I knew her, she might have been like 40s, yeah. And I was like, imagine being a human being on earth. I have such a big family, thank you, God. I was like, imagine being a human being on earth where not one other living person is related to you and you're not old. You're not geriatric. I thought, what would it must feel like? You and just you. It's a crazy thing. That moves me to tears thinking about it. Wow. Kareen says, yes, that rooftop scene was powerful. Jeremy says, side note, I wouldn't mind retiring with a house on the lake like Marty Bird. Marty had the right idea. Marty wanted to make a life for his family and be the man, be important, be a man of means, financial means. But he got caught up, man. Marty got caught up in forces that were bigger and stronger and more deadly than he could have imagined. Not only the cartel, also the FBI, and the dance between he, his wife, the cartel family, let's say, the government as represented by the FBI in this series, Maya, and then the two bigwigs who are using the money that the cartel is giving up to fund the FBI. Like, is this real? It's fiction. But it's so interesting to watch. It's so interesting to watch. Any final comments from you guys? I hope you're enjoying this. I really, again, love Ozark. Found it so moving. So many things that I could, reflect on for myself, my own journey. And so I enjoy deep, thoughtful, well-written, scripted shows about life, about people trying to live their real life and people trying to figure it out, right? Make mistakes, fail, even get dirty, move according to, the next set of circumstances that they could not have predicted. Life happens and then reacting. And what would you do if this happened? How would you handle it? Or based on that character's, history and development, how should they have handled it? Would they go in this direction or that direction? That's something that I love a puzzle. I love unexpected twists and turns, and Ozark offers all of that. It is such a well-written show, as I've been saying. It's something I think that you guys can really dig into if you like, again, shows about real life, of course, with the cartel theme, a little what should I say, Law and Order, when it comes to the dance between the feds and the birds. If you like themes about family, the messiness, the complex life of families, and how things are not cut and dry, and how people, mess up. How do you love a person? When Wendy's father says, "You're just more difficult to love," that hurt me. I said, her dad is savage. You've just been more difficult to love, Wendy Marie. I was like, no, he didn't. Why you say that to your daughter? But you don't know. I want to know more about that history of them growing up in that house. Looked like he was a drunkard. Because he got that, when he pulled that box from underneath the bed, when he started to realize Wendy Bird, his daughter, was the last person to go into that restaurant with his son via the private eye, when he started to realize, Wendy, I saw you go in. I saw you driving on the highway. We got pictures of it. You're the only one that went in. You're the only one that came out. Excuse me. Both of you guys went in. Where's Ben? In that final scene with Jonah and the private investigator. That private investigator also has such a very interesting arc. Losing his job because of a drug addiction, but knowing he's a good guy and wants to be a part of a law enforcement agency. And then Wendy and Marty somehow pulling strings to get him his job back, to get out of their hair, to stop working for their dad. Thought it worked with not having the private investigator show up to the child custody hearing. Dad's there calling, "Your Honor, my witness, I don't have it firsthand, but my witness is coming." He's ignoring it because Wendy them got him to leave town by giving him back his job. Somehow, some kind of way. Out of our hair. Yeah, right. But it wasn't enough for him. He was a truly good guy. He talked to Maya about it. They dated. I thought that was an interesting little twist. I was like, oh, okay. That was unexpected. And that he would ask her, if you could get your job back. I've been fighting to get my job back in this particular police department for the last 4 years. And they just waved and won because they wanted to get rid of me from digging into who they are. Would you take it? Love a moral dilemma. Seems up front, seems, cut and dry, but it's not. So yeah, it is something that I really Love the complexity of. They did such a good job with it. All right, MG Toe Universe, welcome, says the ending was so anticlimactic but interesting. So the face off, that final scene where I already knew Ruth knew Ruth knew what was coming when she saw the black SUV in her driveway when she drove up to her home. She looked in the driver's seat. Saw no one. The eeriness, the camera work around her face, nice and close up as she turns to look like someone is definitely on the property and they're not here for good reasons if they're here. For me, Ruth turns and sees Omar Navarro's sister. Remember, she was told by the head of the drug company, the lady who she threatened, that Ruth was the one that took away Javi. So that face off, very well shot. That walk out of the dark, I love it. I was like, this is so dramatic. And she's coming with her long gun. And she's looking up at, like, almost like, you white trash. That's the look. Not saying that's what she was, but that's the look she has. Like, little girl, you took my son. Now you're going to pay. And how they shot it initially with the bullet, the way it hit Ruth, I was like, is this a dream sequence? I was so confused. Thank you. Exactly. I think I'm going to pick this up. Just not to digress off what we're talking about, Jeremy. I think Tuesday when I have Courtney Michelle, I'm going to touch that again. But thank you, Jeremy. Appreciate you. MG Toe says that investigator really thought he was going to be Captain America in the end, didn't he? Ooh, but he didn't know Jonah Bird. Jonah Bird. My gosh. What are you raising? That's another theme. What are you raising? That other human being that God gave you provision over. What are you teaching them? What did the Langmores teach their children? What are the Birds teaching their children? What did Wendy's dad teach her? He swear, and the self-righteousness of Wendy's dad. Do we know people like that? He's Mr. Church. He wants all the respect of being Mr. Church. My thing, guys, is our first call is to that family God give you. Your first call to love, your first call to be kind, to be gentle, to be forthright, to be, what should I say? Ministry, to be ministering is to your household. But Wendy's father is symbolic of those who are, presenting the facade. Talk about Captain America to their church. Upstanding church member. Hates his daughter. No forgiveness there, Papa. That character of Wendy's dad, behind the scenes, dealing with alcoholism, behind the scenes, plotting to take his own grandchildren away, just so she won't have them, just so he can tell them who she really is, in his opinion, poison the well. I said, Lord, there are families in real life like this. This is scary. That dance between dad and daughter who hate one another. But we in the church, though, we baptizing people. Y'all don't want it. Y'all don't want it this morning. I'm going to go. Appreciate y'all being here. Yes, Doug says, thank you again, MG Toe Universe, for your donation. Doug says, drug money would have funded many off-books government operations. I'm wondering, this show is a very interesting look into it, because you wonder where the writers get this type of material. Because most of them, I don't know if they've lived it. They hear people talk about it. They know someone who's lived this life. It's interesting where they do the research to come up with the plots. It's very interesting. Good analysis, Doug. But yes, interesting that this possibility could exist. Camila. Yes. I started to watch Queen of the South. Did I get into it? I started getting into that show. That was good. I think I watched first season. I don't think I watched past the first season. But Camila, I didn't place her there. Also played the head of a drug cartel. She's just good at that, right? This lady who plays Javier Navarro, Javi's mommy, and Omar Navarro's sister, Camila. Can remember her name. Also played the head of a drug cartel in Queen of the South by the same name. When you talk about good casting, she's excellent in that role. She's clean, like cool, calm, collected, and will threaten you and come take care of business herself. Again, when she popped out that SUV, she was like, "You kill my son? Let's go." Let's go. So, what do you guys think as we sign off here? What do you think is going to happen? Is the bird dynasty over now that Jonah has become an assassin? Is dad, when he's dad gone out of the picture, realizing how dangerous his daughter is, and that she ain't the one to mess with? Is Ruth's family, like I said, 3 is the only one that's left there in the Langmores? Are they done? How do they navigate with the FBI now? Does Marty become the pin? Or are they operating as Wendy planned, with the most dangerous of people at the head being Camilla? It's a very, very interesting show, y'all. I hope you guys have enjoyed my dive into it. Take time to watch it. Leave a comment after if you would. If you're watching Team Replay, you know what to do. Hit the like button. But I hope you guys have enjoyed. I really, really enjoyed this show. My next few shows coming up, I will see you guys Monday. I will be talking with Boss Attorney Bree. Boss Attorney Bree and I will be going deep into male survivors of domestic violence. We've heard a lot of stories about men being the recipients of abuse on various levels, whether it's emotional, mental, and physical. We've heard about it through the Johnny Depp trial at various stages, and vice versa, women and men in that case, both alleging abuse. We've been talking about it when we've been diving deep into the Will Smith matter of the Oscars. But we're going to talk about male survivors when it comes to domestic violence, the stigma, why we don't really hear about it. We also are going to go, I'm going to go over to Learn Business Podcast to talk about my personal journey on Tuesday. I'm going to try, I really wanted to do a follow-up on the Mr. Samuels probate question, where his assets will go. So I want to get with Sandy B. We're going to pick a date next week because I'll be on Learn Business with them on Tuesday. We might actually do Wednesday next week. So I might be on shows Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then beyond that, the following Monday, I have Intentional Millionaire. I have Courtney Michelle coming up. I have several other people. We're going to be doing some work, y'all. So I want to make sure, and I have to double check my date with you. Okay, no, I will be with Courtney Michelle next Tuesday. And then the following Tuesday, I'll be with Sandy B, going over to her channel. So yeah, so Monday, Boss Attorney Bree. On Tuesday, when I have Courtney Michelle, I think I'm going to talk about Kevin Samuels with her if she feels comfortable. I think that would be a perfect person to discuss some of the reactions that we've been seeing. So I've enjoyed talking to you guys about the Ozarks. Come see me again Monday at 7, Tuesday at 7 on my channel, Boss Attorney Bree. Monday, Tuesday, Courtney Michelle. And I'm going to hopefully be able to schedule Miss Sandy B from the Learn Biz podcast to talk about the assets of KS. I think what happens to his digital assets is a very interesting legal question. Of course, all of those who, whether you admired him, whether you despised him, we're still kind of in shock about that loss. So I did want to put a little bit of a legal spin, not the salacious, but more so some, substantive discussion about things that happen when people pass away. So we're gonna, we're gonna keep it moving. I hope you guys enjoyed today's topic. If you did, leave a comment after the show below the stream. If you have interesting topics, you can always email me. Thank you, Sunbreeze, for holding it down today as my moderator. Thank you so very much. All right, y'all. If you enjoyed on your way out, please hit the like button. I'll see you on Monday for a discussion with the lady lawyer, a boss attorney Bree. Mark your calendars, or please hit the notification bell. If you're not subscribed, whether you're watching online on Facebook, go over to my YouTube channel, Suzette Speaks Show. You can just look up Suzette Speaks and find me. And finally, we have a Patreon as well. We're going to be getting into it with one of my Patreon members. Funny enough, he's going to be my special guest this month, talking about some personal development. And I want to actually bring back a guest that I haven't asked her yet, but many people were touched by my guests. The show about the color run and Dr. Tanisha. And I'm going to invite her back, I think, on Patreon as well to go a little bit deeper into some of the things she's learned about her marriage. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Hit the like button on your way out. And if you haven't watched it, check out Ozark. I'll see you guys really soon. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here with me. Hit the like button and have a wonderful day. Take care.